by way of introduction, we will be talking to Raphael Afaedor and Nwachukwu Onyeaso. Round of applause, please, if I call them up. Let me, Nwachukwu, please come forward. A round of applause for Nwachukwu Onyeaso. Nwachukwu is the founder of a platform called pushandstart.com. Now, Push and Start is basically a crowdfunding platform for startups. That means that startups who are looking to raise money can actually get more people to excuse me. Fantastic. Sorry about that. It means that startups who are looking for funding can actually, instead of looking for one investor who, say, commit like 100,000, can actually get more people to, pitch in into the round. So $100,000 across 10 people, or say 20 people, or even 100 people. And that makes it easier for people to, invest in startups. It makes it easier for the entrepreneur to raise money for their business. It also makes it easy for you to back projects that you would support, that you will ordinarily not support because, probably because you didn't have as much funding to actually get behind it. So that's what Nwachukwu Onyeaso's platform does. A round of applause. And the second person that you will be getting a chance to ask questions today is Raphael Afaedor. Now, I've known Raphael Afaedor since 2010. When I first came into the ecosystem, I kind of stumbled into it, and he was talking about e-commerce then. And right now, he's still talking about e-commerce, so that shows you how, consistent that we need to be in our businesses. Very, very focused individual that I respect very much. He founded Clueclue.com, which, he parlayed that experience into founding one of the leading e-commerce brands in Nigeria today that everybody knows, Jumia.com.ng, with subsidiaries in other parts of Africa. And right now, his latest venture is something called Supermart.com.ng, taking years of experience from the Nigerian e-commerce into he's a veteran. And I'm sure that what he has to say today will be very, very instructive. So between these two people is a very powerful panel. I'd like you to take the opportunity, and if you can, within the space of 20 minutes, which is a very short time, to actually sponge up the knowledge from these two people. But I will stop wasting time now and hand over the mic to the audience. Given the context that I've given, what would you like to ask from these people? And time is very of the essence, so we will not be, there won't be time for merry-go-rounding, if you may. So we need the questions to be very brief. I will give you 30 seconds to ask a question, and on average, we'll be allowing the answers to go on for 1 or 2 minutes, and that way we can make sure that we have, the interaction spread out as much as possible. We need to maximize the time. Thank you very much. So I'll just have the mic go around by a show of hands. If you have any question, I'll make sure the mic gets to you. And this is what usually happens. Everybody's kind of like, no, I'm not going to ask the first question, and then the floodgates open after. So if you didn't get to ask your question, it is your fault because you didn't ask fast enough.
Hi, my name is Chika. Raf, this question is for you. Why did you leave Jumia?
Good question.
So thank you very much for having me. I think in 2010, when I first came here, I was looking for sort of an ecosystem to plug into. There wasn't much going on at the time compared to what is happening now. So every time I see a gathering like this of people who are entrepreneurs, whether tech or any other type of entrepreneurship, I'm impressed by the fact that we've come so far, and I'm always very hopeful for the future because we see a lot of people who want to enter this game. It's a very rewarding play. It's very interesting, and I think you live a very fulfilled life, even if it's very, very difficult. Okay, so I'll move on to the question, which is why Jumia? I think the way I answer it is there's a Yoruba proverb which says 20 children cannot play together for 20 years. I think it was 2 years of my life. It was very rewarding. We had built a company. As at the time I was leaving earlier this year, it was 1,000 people, and we're making thousands of orders a day and millions of dollars in monthly revenues. I thought that I could actually add value by actually starting what I've started now, which is a service to help working professionals who are also homemakers. So, you know, the person who comes to work at 8 in the morning and leaves at 8 in the evening, but still has to do grocery shopping and spend 6 hours a week doing their grocery shopping. I thought I've learned so much that I can actually build a service like this that will serve the needs of the people. And I think Jumia is in good hands. It's growing even since we left. So I think it was time for me to move on and try something new.
Fantastic answer, Raphael. I hope that answers your question. At least, yeah, but we'll get the real story from you eventually. Yeah. So, you'd like to ask a question? You need to say your name and be very brief.
My name is Temitayo. Mr. Raphael, what advice will you give to a startup entering into the e-commerce space?
In the e-commerce space or startups generally? Okay. So
E-commerce specifically.
Okay, so I guess I'll take it within the context of startups generally. You first have to identify somebody who you're serving. I think one of the mistakes I've seen made, or one of the things I think can be done better, is to identify somebody. Oftentimes you go out there saying, there's just this mass market, which in the case of Lagos is 20 million people, in the case of Nigeria it's 170 million people, and you say, I want to build a solution that addresses all of them. So you keep adding feature after feature after feature, because today you're addressing the person who has only with a mobile phone, and tomorrow you're addressing the person who earns maybe $200,000 a year or something, and it's like they're not exactly the same people. I think you need to segment and be very clear who is going to buy your product and tailor the product accordingly to the person, according to the needs of the person. And second, the second thing you then have to do is to charge the person. Okay, you don't have to have a fancy website put up. You can have Google Docs as your order management system. It doesn't really matter what's behind this. Provide the service and charge the person for the service. Okay, so if it's delivery, charge the person for delivery. That's the only true validation that you have that the business model is going to work. Then after that, you have to start trying to understand how you provide phenomenal customer service to the people, because only then will they recommend you. I mean, all the marketing in the world will not make up for bad customer service. Okay, so if you can do all these three well, then you have to just worry about growing a very, very good business.
Thank you very much, Raphael. And we'll be moving on to the next question. And don't forget, Nwachukwu is about raising. If you are looking to raise money, you should be asking him questions. Is the next question for who?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, my name is Ignatius. This question goes to Nwachukwu, please. We know of some angel raising funds, or some ways we can raise money, or some foundations that raises money, but we do not know how to get money from them. Now, let us talk about your foundation, like your organization. How can startups get money from you?
Yeah, so he basically wants you to describe what Push and Start does.
All right, fantastic. Thanks for that question. So we're not a foundation. What we are is a platform, and it's slightly different. We're not an NGO or anything like that. If you have an idea, and we believe very much in, that's why I was nodding when Raphael was talking. We believe very strongly in lean methodology. So if you have an idea, really, that's where you should start from. That's where you should start applying the methodology from. And we've built our service in such a way that it forces you to think rigorously about your idea. And it also compels you to find the right partners that will help you build your business. So we insist that you get a mentor from us, from our platform. We don't tell you who to choose, but we have a list of mentors. So you decide who you feel is the best value add for your startup, for your business, for your idea at the stage you are. And we also have a list of professionals, just like Tommy was talking about. So you must partner with at least one accountant, because we don't expect you to wear, while as a startup founder, you wear many hats. But I think the small business accountant is a really important role. And we don't want to, as part of giving your investors comfort, we want those roles to be separated from you, the startup founder. So if you get these two elements and you have your idea and we walk you through the business model canvas, you know what a business model canvas is? Okay, fine, fantastic. Do you know what lean startup methodology is? Lean startup. Have you heard of a CREASE? Okay.
Yeah, it's a room that we need to lock up in, for a whole weekend, and we need to have like a marathon.
All right, so there's really a lot. There's really a lot to do, but essentially it's about talking to your customers from as early as possible, and understanding really who your customer is, and what need they have. So for a second, don't think too deeply about your solution, because your solution might not be addressing the problem. Just look at your customers, look at the market you want to serve, and find the problem they have that you can serve profitably. Those are the sort of businesses that we think investors in Africa are looking to back. They are not looking to back the next Twitter or Facebook. Thank you very much.
Fantastic answer. Thank you, Nwachukwu. Another question for you, so still keep the mic.
All right. My name is Michael, and you're ready with the mic. It's regarding, thankfully, I'm one of you. I'm also on Push and Start, and yeah, it's a wonderful platform, and I know it's unique, and I will also advise you all go on it. What I want to ask is regarding me, right? Getting the value. I know Push and Start is to bridge the gap between guys like us with ideas and the startup, and then people willing to invest in it. So for us with the ideas, how best? I know you've got the mentor, you've got the forum. How best can we use it, your online platform, to make ourselves much more seen as of high value, to put all our work easily? They can see what we are into. We can make the best of that platform to attract the investors we want to invest. So my question is, how do we make the most of the platform as an...
All right, that's a great question. I think the first step is to build your profile so that people can actually discover you. And when you've built your profile, and to build your profile, all you need to do is just verify your email and upload a government-issued ID card, and you'll be a verified user. Once you have that, the main thing is now to build your reputation. So you build your reputation by, for one, going on the expert forum and establishing your knowledge. So you're answering questions about startups and stuff like that. You're answering questions about financing. And then if you have an idea, like in your case, you have an idea, you create a business profile for that idea, and you make sure as much as possible, because you have the ability to restrict access to lots of different parts of your idea, because everybody's concerned about confidentiality and IP theft. I would recommend that you don't make your idea so restricted that just even to read your executive summary, people need to write to you and say, please, I want to find out what you're working on. I don't think anybody really has that burning need to invest in you at this stage, unless, of course, you're Raphael and you're coming off the back of Jumia and stuff like that. If you don't have that sort of success to, as a track record, you should probably be more open and more forthcoming. And don't be too scared about people stealing your idea. I don't think people are in the business of stealing unproven ideas. They'll wait till you've proven the idea before they try and steal it. So be open as much as possible. Share with as many people. I think that's the way you get the most value from our platform. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Nwachukwu. We're over here at the back. We're a bit obscured, but it's fine. You can hear us. Yeah, that's fine. And but I wanted to tell the rest of the room, if you have a question, I'm walking around, so you just need to draw my attention to it, and that way I can, fantastic. So we have more takers. We don't have a lot of time left, so please, thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, CFA here. My first question is to Chinedu. What makes you think crowdfunding will work? Sorry, Nwachukwu. What makes you think crowdfunding will work in Nigeria, considering our environment? That's one. Raphael, what should young, small startups be looking out for when the likes of rockets, because more of them will still come, what should they be looking out for to protect themselves? And I'm hoping that you still have shares in Jumia, so I'm asking that what should they be looking out for? Thank you.
Okay, interesting questions.
Okay, so to address your first question, which is for me, why will crowdfunding work? I think right now it's an experiment. So we've gathered we've talked to our customers, we've talked to investors, we've talked to startup founders, and there's a need, there's an interest. I think the only time the idea is going to be fully validated is when we've done our first 12 months and we look at our scorecard and see the number of people we've backed. But there's a need, there's definitely a need. If you understand our model, because Bankole, in describing us, he called us a crowdfunding platform, and that's where we are. But there are different types of crowdfunding. So there's the rewards-based, and ours is equity-based. So rewards-based is what the most popular platforms in the world do. That is Kickstarter, an Indiegogo. You back me, I want to build a new widget. You back me and I send you t-shirts. At a certain level, I give a shout out on Facebook, that kind of thing. What we do is slightly different, or very different. If you back a startup, you get an equity stake. You understand there's a bit of a difference. So I think what might not work in Nigeria, or what I wouldn't do, and I think I'm a decent guy, but I wouldn't back someone's business for a t-shirt. I have enough t-shirts, So that's just my take.
Okay, so when competition comes, there is a blog post that I probably will share with Bankole and you can put on Tech Cabal about when, what to do when the gorilla comes into your market. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't really matter. I mean, since 2012, Jumia and Konga have been at each other's throats. But I think when we look across this room, we all have parents who have enough money and are connected to the internet. But the vast majority of our parents have never shopped online. Okay, the vast majority of Lagosians have still not shopped online. Okay, so the real work is there to be done. It's not so much about competition. It's about what are you going to do. The customer is there waiting for a service. Oftentimes, like I said earlier, we've defined the problem as so big that there are always niche customers whose needs we're not addressing. Same in the hotel space. Mark Essien was doing hotels.com. Rocket Internet came with Jovago, and they've been at each other's throats, but I can believe that most of us are still booking hotels by actually walking into the hotel. So the real work is there to be done. So I wouldn't worry so much about competition. I happen to be speaking a lean startup, and this example came to mind. If you have a girlfriend or a partner, let me put it this way, right? And another person is coming after the girl, or guy for that matter, what will you do? Will you pay attention to the girl, or will you pay attention to the other person, the other guy coming after the girl? What will you do? You pay attention to the girl, right? That's it. Pay attention to your customers. If you can do that and do that well, you can totally forget about all competition, whether big or small.
Fantastic. In summary, face your work, not the competition. Brilliant advice from Raphael. Next question is for Nwachukwu.
Thank you. I've read a bit about push and start, and I understand a bit that you bring together. Okay, thank you. So you are serving the same time startups and also investors through debt fundraising or equity fundraising. So, looking to what Raphael said before, you have to charge for the service you are providing. I would like to know, what do you charge for the startups companies, and what do you charge to a person coming as an investor? Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So we have a price list on the website, and so we have a price list on the website. I would recommend that you go and look at it.
Do you want to say the URL to that?
No, but essentially, what we'll definitely take is 10% of however much you raise.
Think about that very well.
So if you raise $1 million, we'll just take something shy of 100,000.
With VAT
other charges
and tax and
everything else we absorb.
I mean, the upside is now you've raised money, right? Yeah, you've raised, so. All right, then, next question. That was okay. That was you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is to Raphael. Someone asked you about the e-commerce. I don't think that's really a question to be asked because everybody knows Jumia and Konga are making so much money. My question is on medical tech startups. How do they break into the African market? Because I'm a medical doctor and I run a startup. We have a product out now, but convincing people to download health apps and making them to come back and stay. Because mostly what health apps do is they give you an information. Once you get that information, that's it, you are gone. I have malaria, go and take Coartem, you are gone. But we have to create what we call a mother's community, where people go and come back there. So explain to me how to make startups that are health inclined remain in business without thinking social.
How do we encourage medical and startups, technology companies in the medical sector to become better?
So I'm not too sure I understand the space that well. I mean, I've been doing e-commerce for so long, and as well, I know e-commerce, not so much like medical technology. But what I would say is, there are you can find yourself in one of two situations, right? Either you have a solution looking for a problem to solve, or you've identified a problem and you fashion a solution to the problem. So I think if you start with a clear definition of who the customer is, and you fashion the solution out to the customer's problem, and it's the definition of who the customer is goes beyond somebody who has a need. How does the person solve the need today? Where does he go for information? Where does he pick up drugs, etc.? What is his routine? Or the routes that he takes to work, etc. You should be able to meet the person at a point where he has the need and you're able to address the need. Then I think that the issue of how do I get information to him, etc., becomes less difficult to solve. Okay, I don't know if I've addressed your question. So I guess you're talking about stickiness, having the people come back. If the need keeps recurring, then you should have your solution close to the point of need. Okay, so is it a phone? I don't know. If for example, they go to the doctor to tell the doctor they have malaria, then the doctors are the one you want to talk to. Somebody, they solve the problem today somehow. You have a more efficient solution, but you have to feed off who the customer is and how he's solving the problem today.
Thank you very much, Raphael. We'll be taking the last question for today. Further interactions will have to be had in person with the panelists, and if you look on the screens, you will see all their details, so you can see their Twitter, their LinkedIn. Please connect to them after now. We'll be taking the last question, and after now, please interact with them.
Okay, my question is for Raphael. My name is Olatunde. So you said something, okay. Yeah. You said something earlier that actually brought about this question. You said you started Supermart after finding the problem, and I guess you were able to start Supermart from your experience with Jumia. So the question is, like you said, that Supermart is targeting busy executives that work 8 to 8. And the problem is they are unable to shop. So were you able to, because the way you sound like that problem they don't have is a solution that they are using for it. Were you able to find out how they are solving that problem before coming with Supermart?
Okay. Yes. So I guess I'm an example of the customer whose problem I'm solving, and I see a lot of them around today. What happens? What happens is this. They have to do their grocery shopping. They have to do it once a week. They spend about an hour in traffic getting to ShopRite or Park and Shop or wherever. They spend another hour getting back home. They spend about 2-3 hours in the shop walking down the aisles. They don't end up shopping in one place. They still have to go to another shop or another market somewhere to buy stuff. And then they spend some time in traffic, or looking for to pay at the tail, or looking for parking space, etc. We estimated this to be about 6 hours a week. And then we said, if we can provide the service to these people are busy. They're busy because they're busy making money. So if we can to them, then we can charge them 800 naira for the service. And we thought 800 naira was small enough for them to say, why not? I'm going to pay somebody 800 naira to take this 6-hour pain off my back. Okay. Today on supermart.ng, you can actually do your entire grocery shopping in 5 minutes. Okay. Not the first time, because 80% of a household's items are the same. 80 to 90%. It's the same thing you ordered the last time. So you click reorder this basket, add 1 or 2 items, remove some items, increase the size, number of, and then 5 minutes later, 3 hours is delivered to your home. Once we identify these customers, we've never done even an iota of advertising. We went straight to where these customers are. They work in the banks, they work in the telcos, they work in, so we went straight to where they are, oil and gas companies, and told the HR department, we have the solution for your people. So we feed it exactly of that. And every now and then I have somebody who says, 800 naira is too much. I just tell myself, my customers can afford 800 naira. So I can't afford to drop the delivery charge because I have to go make it up somewhere else by, marking up prices, etc. But the promise is what you're getting in Park and Shop, the price we are getting in Park and Shop is what we're giving to you. All we're charging you is 800 naira. And so I know my customers and I can afford to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take this customer because he's not my customer. So I think you have to start off knowing clearly what you want to do, who you want to serve, fashion the solution for that person, and then it gives you the confidence to go hard after the person too.